What's going on, everybody? This is Les from Cannabis Wiki. Welcome to another episode of Weed Talks. Today we're going to look at getting into medicinal cannabis, and not the high end of the industry medicinal cannabis, but actually down to a patient that is a medicinal cannabis user and hear their story and journey using medicinal cannabis. So I'd like to welcome Marcel. Marcel, what's happening?
Not much, brother. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Welcome to Weed Talks, Cannabis Wiki studio. So, where are you from?
I live in Brantford currently. Lived all over as a child, so many different places. Was born in a little town in Northern Quebec, and that's about it.
Okay, so how are you finding Brantford? How's city life?
It's interesting. We have a huge opioid crisis at the moment, but otherwise, you know, the city's thriving with our universities and everything else.
Yeah, real estate market's kind of growing in the city too.
Yeah, the city has grown triple in size in the last 10 years.
Yeah, which is nice. It's a good thing.
It is, because it brings more industry and more opportunities.
Definitely. So what is it you do for job profession?
What I do is I started doing medical edibles for people that had terminal diseases and could not handle eating the actual cannabis oil. They wanted a product where they could consume it, but not taste it. And we all know if we're nauseous, there's certain smells that we can't have.
All right. So you're into the infusing of cannabis into...
We infuse 400 different products, from barbecue sauce to jams to suckers to whatever the client can handle and whatever the client wants.
Okay. So what were you doing before that?
I did a lot of kitchen stuff, running kitchens. I opened restaurants in my life for Cara. I worked for Casino Windsor for a while.
Okay.
Did some private stuff in an open kitchen in a little town called Kingsville, in an ancient Italian restaurant. It was amazing. And when you walked in there, it was like the 50s.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're a culinary chef.
I'm a culinary chef.
So how long was that?
Well, I started my apprenticeship hours when I was 16. I was lucky enough to find a chef that was willing to take me on, and a co-op teacher that allowed me to also do it during school. Okay. So by the time I was 18, I had finished my hours. So I ended up going to a place called Canadore College for culinary management.
Okay. Yep.
In the second year, a lot of stuff happened. So my life was a little disrupted. So I ended up not finishing the second year. But at that point, I had already had my class hours, so I went and wrote my test.
Okay, all right. So are you, or were you, a cannabis user previous to your illness?
I was the most anti-cannabis person I think you probably would ever meet. I thought it was stupid. I wouldn't even speak to people, friends of mine, after I found out they used cannabis. And that was because of my upbringing teaching that it was the absolute devil. It was the worst thing on earth. But that, we all know, is government propaganda.
It's the old stigma. It's with everybody just through the fact that it was illegal. Yeah. Right? So what is the medical term for the illness that you were diagnosed with?
What I ended up being diagnosed with was a brainstem glioma, which is a type of tumor that attaches to the brainstem.
Yeah. So what is the outcome for that kind of diagnosis?
Generally, if you can make it through the chemo and radiation, it's like 1 in 400 that survive.
Wow.
There was at the time talk of possible surgery too, which would land you in a wheelchair 99%. And with many diminished brain functions, so not something I was ever interested in.
Wow, so what were the medications that they were prescribing for you, and how did they make you feel?
I went for 1 session of chemo and a session of radiation, and I have never felt that ill in my life. Worse than imagine a tropical flu, but it not going away after a couple days, it's staying with you. So at the age that I was at, I decided that I couldn't do it.
Right.
The medicine was not for me because it was killing me inside.
Right. So how did you come across cannabis?
Well, I happened to be running two different places. I had opened a restaurant for Cara in North Bay, as well as I was running a local golf and country club. Okay. And there was an amazing couple that I always talked to. We always sat down and had a drink afterwards. And they were new school hippies. And we started talking, and they were introducing me to all these articles about cannabis. And so I said, what, I have nothing to lose. I might as well try it. So I went from hating it to believing in it in a couple months.
Wow, that's a big jump.
It is.
So what would have been your method of taking cannabis? Would smoking, ingesting like edibles or concentrates?
I learned quickly how to make my own Rick Simpson oil.
Wow.
The thing with medical cannabis, yes, it's medical for smoking as well. It's great for headaches, appetite loss, and multiple other things. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to actually attacking the cells, it has to be the oil, and it has to be a high CBD and THC content.
Which was going to be my next question, if it was CBD or THC, or if it was a 1-to-1.
No, it's a 1-to-1. For me, is what I preferred, because the CBD for me helped with a lot of other things. Okay. The THC took the pain away and some of the nausea, but the CBD gave you that sort of uplifting, sort of feeling good all over your body again.
So coming from the stigma side to now, how did you find and how long did it take till you started feeling some results from the cannabis?
Pretty much the next day.
Wow. Because
your appetite's back. You're actually moving again. You're actually feeling somewhat alive. You know, you're getting out of bed to, go sit outside or take the dog for a walk instead of sitting in your bed all day just sulking and watching TV.
Right. So that's a huge jump and very fast.
People don't understand how quickly it works. No, it's not going to get rid of your tumor in 2 days,
right,
but it will make you feel better.
So how long overall did it take to get you to a better diagnosis?
Roughly about 6 months.
So, and where do you stand now?
It has not grown back. I haven't went for a scan in 2 years, but it had shrunk down to the size of less than an inch, and it was over 4.5 inches big before that.
That is incredible. That is incredible. And how are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. And that is why I believe in cannabis so much.
Well, you sound like you've also dug into a lot of the education of cannabis.
That's all I do in my spare time. Most people sit and watch TV or play video games, but for me, it's all about learning. I want to know everything about cannabis before I die.
Right. That's super commendable. I could understand where you're coming from for sure with that. So you mentioned there was other patients that you look after?
We deal with a group. Our company deals with a group of people. It's more of a co-op. Right. They supply the product that they want turned into whatever shape of medicine they want, whether it be chocolate bars, suckers, barbecue sauce, jam for their morning toast. Oh, okay. And then that way we're not crossing that illegal line.
Right.
And we make them the product. And you have some people that want 1,500 milligram gummies, and you have some people that are okay with 5 and 10. But what I want to say is, if you're going to use it to fight something, do your research. The articles are out there. Like Yale, Harvard, Berkeley, they're all out there.
Right.
Not your propaganda articles that says it does this and it does that.
Right. So you've gone to the big leagues to get the information.
Well, it's because I've been misinformed my whole life by our general newspapers and the stuff posted on the internet.
Right.
Because anyone can Google, but Google's going to bring up the most popular thing.
Right, which may necessarily be the right.
No, most of it is propaganda. If you want to get into and even define these studies, you can't just Google. You got to go into their sites and go into their indexes. They don't want this stuff published. Some of it they do, but most of it is just and there's studies that go back as far as the 60s, the 50s.
Yeah, this is what I'm finding out also. So the power of having the medicine in your own hands must be, describe that feeling.
It's amazing. And I took it for granted for a little while. I stopped taking oil on a daily basis. I smoke cigarettes, unfortunately, and I damaged my lungs.
Okay.
So it was at a point where they weren't going to do surgery. I needed a hernia surgery. They weren't going to do it. So I went for a CBD treatment through a friend of mine. And I also went back on all of the Rick Simpson oil. Mm-hmm. And then within less than 2.5 years, my lungs were back to a 95% capability, and I was probably at a 70.
So the oil is amazing.
Yeah. And I stopped believing in myself, but then I realized I'm helping everyone else and I wasn't taking care of myself. So the minute I started taking care of myself, and I still haven't quit smoking, it's something I'd like to do. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of different CBD treatments in the States, which are proven, 95% effective. So.
Wow. So you're a culinary chef, and edibles are soon to be legalized come October 17th, I believe it is. So what kind of recipes do you have?
Oh, I can make anything. I can make your mama's stew infused. There isn't anything. People don't understand the possibilities, and with Cannabis Wiki, we want to show people how easy it is to infuse anything.
Well, that would be the best thing is getting that power, because information is power, into the hands of each medicinal person.
Yeah, because a lot of people in this industry see it as the green gold rush. Mm-hmm. I could ride the money train as well, but for me, giving back to the community, everything that we work for, at least 25% goes back into the community to help people get jams, oils, whatever they need to make themselves better.
You got quite the incredible story. I only have one inquisitiveness, and that would be to taste some of your food.
Of course. Let's cook.
Well, I'd love to get you here. Definitely, we got a kitchen here. We'd like to maybe do a little thing with you, have you come back to the show and see about infusing a little bit of treats. One of your quick recipes. Maybe you can teach the viewers out there.
Of course.
Give some of that knowledgeable information.
My goal is to educate everyone about cannabis.
As it should be. I believe it's the healing of the nation. With more people like yourself coming forward and telling your story, your journey. I definitely appreciate the time that you've taken to get it out there. I definitely want to take more time and talk to more medicinal users. Hopefully, when we sit down in the kitchen, we could inform a few more people on how easy it is to cook with cannabis. So Marcel, where would medicinal patients be able to find you? How can they get a hold of you?
We're in the community all the time, but also can be found on Facebook. We have our company, which is the Devil's Lettuce Cooking with Cannabis Company.
Nice.
I'm on Facebook attached to that as well. We're also starting to do community stuff. We're going to partner with our kitchen on Roy Boulevard in Brantford and offer medicinal informational cooking classes.
Wow.
To teach people how to medicate themselves at home safely, properly, and enjoy the benefits. Because the price to buy edibles versus making your own and the availability. On October 17th, we will have edibles that are 10 milligrams for someone who has a terminal disease that is not necessarily what they need.
Right. So that's, you're giving people the power.
Yeah. Our cooking classes offer spots for people that can't afford to as well. We will gladly, if anyone approaches me and says, look, I can't afford to, but I need to learn, we will help you. We're there for you.
That's awesome. So that's our kitchen.
Yeah, our kitchen on 20 Roy Boulevard in Brantford. They have ourkitchen.com. Tickets are available there for all of our cooking classes. You can message any of us. If you have the inability to pay for the ticket, we will take care of you.
That is awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, there you have it. Marcel, Lester, Cannabis Wiki, Weed Talks. Stay tuned. Keep it locked for more. See you soon.